Hello, my name is Gui Costin, founder CEO of Dakota, and the Dakota Way is officially live on Amazon, where you can buy it right now, both Kindle and soft copy. The Dakota Way covers the 4 core principles of investment sales, which is 1, set expectations, 2, know who to call on, 3, know what to say, and 4, have a killer follow-up system. These are our internal nomenclature for how we describe the things that we should be doing to become world-class fundraisers. It's all in the book. It's incredibly simple, which is the good news. You can buy it on Amazon. I promise you it works. And if you have any questions, you can always email me at guy@dakota.com. The book's available at Amazon right now, both in Kindle and soft cover. Thanks so much and have a great day. Hello everybody, it's Gui Costin, founder and CEO of Dakota. Welcome to the latest show called Mastering Salesforce.com for investment firms. Now, as we all know, one of the biggest challenges for any sales organization is the adoption of Salesforce.com. What are the 2 biggest impediments to adoption of Salesforce.com? 1, configuration. What does it look like? This doesn't have any of the fields that make sense to me. I can't see what I'm looking for. Who's going to configure it? We hired this person, they didn't do it. So number 1, configuration. Number 2, stale data. So stale data is a killer. Then 3, how do I organize my information once I'm using Salesforce.com? We answer all of those questions in Mastering Salesforce.com. This is a can't miss show that we're running monthly to go through all the tips and tricks to literally learn how to use Salesforce for maximum leverage for a sales professional. And we will also weave in what we have developed called the Salesforce app for Dakota Marketplace that you can drop into your Salesforce instance. And it's exactly as if you logged into Dakota Marketplace. So you have the proper configuration with up-to-date and accurate account contact information, in addition to all the other information that you get in Dakota Marketplace. A can't miss show if you really want to know the ins and outs, how to master Salesforce.com. Don't miss it. Tune in today. Can't wait to see you on the next episode of Mastering Salesforce.com for investment firms. What's up, everybody? Gui Costin, founder and CEO of Dakota. Welcome to the 32nd episode of the Emerging Manager Growth Show. First time I've ever done it solo. Couldn't find any colleagues. Everyone is out, but I wanted to record this for everyone, share our best ideas on how we believe emerging managers should attack the market. I'm going to tell you just up front, today I'm covering RIAs, which I do believe for any emerging manager should be your primary channel of distribution because they have discretion. They love seeing new and interesting investment ideas. We've been doing this truly for 19 years. I've been calling on RA since 1997. I've always worked with emerging managers, meaning managers that might have 500 million, $1 billion. We've raised over 25 billion in our fundraising business. Emerging managers are awesome to work with. We don't get that many opportunities, but just so you know, we've been fundraising since 2006 as a firm. We have 8 salespeople in the market, and the key takeaway is that we walk in your shoes every day. In fact, 3 years ago, we started working with Spruce, our amazing private credit real estate manager. They make construction loans to multifamily developers. Fund 2, we raised them about 8 million, which is, pretty good considering it's new strategy to a new buyer. And then we'll probably raise over 100 million for them in Fund 3, which we're currently doing right now. So we walk the talk. And lastly, as you may know, 5-6 years ago in 2019, we created Dakota Marketplace, which is a database of institutional, intermediary, and wealth managers globally. It basically is a fully curated CRM where we have over 1,300 investment firms as subscribers and about 6,000 plus fundraisers. So that's Dakota. And now we're going to get into the heart of the show. The theme of today is going to be 2 things, 1, RIAs, and 2, best practices. So let's dig into the RIAs. So the RIAs are, and I'm going to go through 4 myths of what the typical questions that we get. So how long does it take to raise money in the RIA space? So let's just start off. RAs have discretionary capital. That's the good news. The bad news is no top-down leverage. So if you were to raise capital in a, sort of the retail wealth channel at, let's say, a Merrill Lynch or a Morgan Stanley UBS, you get approved. And when you're some of those financial advisors, they don't have to do 50 hours of work and create a whole file underwriting your strategy. So RAs, there's none of that. You can't go to Schwab or Fidelity and get any top-down leverage. You have to go door to door, the 3,500 RAs across the country. And so how long does it take to raise capital in the RA channel? I'd say it depends, but it's typically 6, 9, 12-month sales cycle. But the key is to be out calling on them. And then you have to do that via cold outreach. It's why we build our database. It's why we curate it. We do our best to, within the RAs, especially in our database, to show you where they invest, what they like to invest in. It's all in our database. So how long does it take? I'd say the good news is it's not like the consultant channel, which is kind of a 10-year sales cycle. These can be 6, 9, 12 months, 18 months, but it's the consistency of calling on the channel via cold outreach. Do I need a certain asset size or track record? The answer is no, because RAs have discretion. A lot of them like to find emerging managers that are off the run, they have not met before, so they can distinguish themselves in the marketplace when competing against their Goldman or other private bankers who might have a bigger platform and might be bringing more brand name ideas. They also like to source their own ideas and show their clients that they're finding new and interesting investment ideas for them, which means they want to hear about our strategies. They want to hear about your strategies. And just so you know, 3 years ago, we took on a new emerging manager called Spruce. They have about $1 billion AUM. They do construction loans to multifamily, so private credit, private real estate credit. And Fund 2 was a grind. I think we raised $8 million for them in Fund 2. Fund 3, we're going to raise over $100 million. So we walk the talk and we apply everything I'm saying to you every single day, which is you have to do cold outreach, to book meetings and get in front of RAs. And the strategy, I'll walk you through it, is typically the top 12 metro areas around the country, which you can kind of guess: Boston, New York, Philly, Chicago, LA, San Francisco. Those are the ones that you start with. But moving on. So they have discretion, and AUM and track record really don't play a big role, whereas they might play a bigger role at the wirehouses because they need certain thresholds from a compliance perspective. Do I need to be flexible on fees? Fees will always be a question, right? And it's on a case-by-case basis. There's no hard and fast rules. Simply back to the fact of getting in front of the largest RAs to start in the key metro areas around the country is the goal at the end of the day. Should I focus on large RAs only? I've never understood that even as a question, because a lot of people are like, we only call on $1 billion RAs, so that means you won't call on RAs that are 950 million. Makes no sense to me. And I'll tell you why. The 2, 3, 4, 5, 600 million RAs typically aren't called on by a lot of asset managers because they draw the line at $1 billion. I don't know why. Makes no sense to me in any way, shape, or form. The good news is those RAs under $1 billion grow. And not only do they grow organically just with new clients, but they get acquired by firms like Cerity and others, and then become part of larger platforms. And if you're with them when they're 200 million, 400 million, 600 million, whatever that might be, then they take you with them, and then you have that wind at your back. And also, since a lot of people don't call on them, they love it when people call on them. And so you have an advantage there. So I'd strongly recommend not discriminating against AUM. Just look in our database, go to Boston, and start rifling off top to bottom and trying to book meetings and go through the entire RA list, because you don't know who's going to love you or not. You just have to get in front of them. And with RAs potentially that have 500 million, they might have a larger allocation to your asset class than somebody with $1.5 billion. So strongly recommend call on all the RAs. You don't know who's going to like you. They also all talk, so you lose the word of mouth if you're not calling on those RAs sub $1 billion, and there are a lot of them. So it makes your TAM even bigger. As we talk about the RAs, it's a very simple thing in our database. If you're looking like Schwab and Fidelity and you're just keeping it to that, Schwab, Fidelity, Pershing, there's about roughly 4,000 RAs that all allocate, as we say, to outside managers, so to strategies like yours. And so it's a very big TAM, and you want to attack it, as I mentioned, using the top 12 metro areas to start, and just trying to book meetings using city scheduling, which I'll get to. And a few RA aggregators, right, that you should know them, they should know you, simply sending them a cold email to reach out to them. And that will be Dynasty, Focus, Hightower, Sanctuary, Rockefeller, Cerity. A lot of early adopters we'd recommend would be Ballantine in Atlanta, Ballantine in Boston, 2 different firms. William Blair in Chicago, Corio in Baltimore, Privates, my friend Mark Beagle, who just spoke at our conference, Crescent, Gem in Detroit, Pitcairn Trust in Philly, and Columbia Pacific in San Francisco. And so those would be some of the early adopters. Now, I'm going to get into what we would consider to be best practices. Now, it's really important that you know that we walk the talk. I wrote a book called The Dakota Way. It dropped on February 11th. If you're watching this and you'd like a copy, please send it to guy@dakota.com. Simply send me an email with your address, and I'll send you a signed copy. So the Dakota Way walks through everything that I'm going to go through right now. We walk the talk. We do it every single day. We've actually used the Dakota Way on both our investment sales business as well as our software business. So this process works. I'm going to tell you, it's not easy from a mental perspective. From an actually doing a perspective, it's harmless because we're not, as I say, we're not asking you to drop you in Fallujah with a 90-pound pack on your back, right, and face live ammunition. This is simply an emotional thing. And the most emotional thing that underlies everything in the Dakota Way is cold outreach is the way you win to book meetings. Why it's so important that you can't raise capital unless you get face-to-face with people. It's that simple. So if you think there's another solution, unfortunately, there's not. I've tried for about 27 years to try to come up with a different way of raising capital, and I did not find one that works better than cold outreach to book meetings with qualified buyers. That's the deal. Cold outreach to book meetings with qualified buyers. That's what the whole Dakota Way selling system is all about. I'm going to walk you through it. That first off, it's around city scheduling. Use our database to have the data at your fingertips. The good news about the database is you don't have to go do any research. You don't need to go to websites to figure out who to call on. We have it dialed in for you. And you city schedule using an email, and the email reads, subject line, meeting request, May 4th, 3 p.m. You can send me your email if you want to, and I can edit it for you. I do it for so many of our customers. I'm happy to do it. I believe in this so much. It's the only evidence I can show you if you send me the email, but it has to be 1 sentence to 2 sentences that really pack the punch of who you are, what you do, and why they should care to take a meeting with you. Make it as compelling as possible using your words, and show it to your friends, everything. Would you take a meeting if I sent you this 1 sentence email? And then you need to have a clear call to action within the email. Can you meet May 4th at 3 p.m.? What we always like to do is we like to take city scheduling, and you take a city and you put on 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4:30, and you just fill those meeting slots. That's the execution component of the Dakota Way. Now, the goal for an emerging manager, and all the advice I give, is you have to be able to do more with less. That is the goal. The number one cheapest and most effective marketing tool is your quarterly webinar. And you have to be disciplined about it, and you have to know when you send out the first invite and you do the first one, you're going to get 0 listeners in all likelihood, and just accept that. But you create the content, you send the emails, you typically send 4 emails, a save the date, 2 invitations, a day of. They see your brand. You're inviting them to give them an update on what happened during the quarter. You can also send an email to trogers@dakota.com if you would like a PDF of our quarterly webinar ebook, where we document everything. But to give you kind of the short strokes is, you send out your invitation and make it pretty provocative, if you will. So it sounds interesting why somebody would want to join it. And you're sending out 4 emails, save the date, 2 invitations, day of, and then of course you're going to record it, and then you're going to transcribe it, then you're going to summarize it. So you have 3 ways that people can consume that content. And what you really want to do is you want to update people. First off, remind them of your strategy, give them a solid update of what happened during the quarter, and then pick an investment that you find interesting, that's thematic or what have you, to how you invest. And so people can see live how you've gone about making a particular investment. And then if anything else that you find topical that would shed light on your knowledge and expertise as it relates to your investment strategy, you want to highlight that. And this is good because you can fully prepare, and you can tell the audience exactly what you want them to hear to put you in the best possible light and learn about your strategy. So completely within your control. And you'll find in the Dakota Way, everything we talk about is what I would consider to be totally within your control, and focus on what matters most. But the 4 core principles of the Dakota Way are all within your control, and each core principle has 3 underlying sub-principles that are totally within your control. And I'm going to leave you with 2 points of leverage that are extreme, and they're so helpful. So you do your meeting, we choreograph the meeting in the Dakota Way. First 2 minutes introduction, then you ask them if they could go through their investment decision-making process. Then you do Q&A as fast as you can, going back and forth, volleying, if you will, no monologues. And then you always end asking the 2 toughest questions. Hey, I had a nice time today with you. Do you believe our strategy would fit within your asset allocation mix? Sounds like a logical question, right? Where you have to ask that question. And if they say yes, then you go on to the next question. If they say no, mailing list. And if they do say yes, then you simply say, great, will you be doing a search in the next 12 months? Or if you have a private fund, can you make our year-end close? If they say yes, then you know you can get in the next steps. What would you like us to cover next? A call to the PM, standard RFP, what have you. You have to leave the meeting knowing where you stand. You can't waste your time leaving the meeting like everybody does. Generally, 99% of people don't do this. That's why we put in the book. You have to know once you leave the meeting where you stand with that account, because you don't want to come back to the office and put into your CRM, oh, great meeting, there was all these buying signals. We ban the term great meeting. You can't say great meeting at Dakota. We need to know current status and next step. Now, to close out in terms of a leverage point, the single greatest tool, right? And even if you just have 1 license, it's about $3,000 a year, or if you get a little skimmed down version, it's $1,800 for Salesforce, is you have to use a CRM to do 2 things. 1, you need to put the meetings that you've scheduled into your CRM, and then you need to put the call notes, simple notes of what happened during the meeting. And if you think about the power of AI right now, if you did that for the past 10 years in your career, then you could run AI over your CRM, and it could give you great insights over right there, over your call notes. If you didn't, start it now. It's really, really important. And the second thing that you do outside of the reason you want to get the meetings you've scheduled is because you can run past activity reports to see where you've been. That triggers sales actions. There's nothing cooler than looking at the 50 last meetings that you've had to then trigger actions, a follow-up, I have to get with this person, what have you. The second thing you do is you create opportunity pipeline reports. By creating opportunities when things are real, based upon the 2 toughest questions, because then you're going to know where you stand. You create opportunities, you rank it by stage, with basically the bottom funnel being at the top, if you will, your best opportunities. So for us, it would be red zone and field goal range at the top, and you have all the critical information there with current status and next step text box. And what you do when you sit down with your boss each week to go through your pipeline report, that's what you print out. So it's very easy then to create reports for the higher ups to know where you stand, which, by the way, is the single most important thing, is keeping your boss in the loop of how you're progressing against the plan of attack that you both agreed upon. That's core principle number 1. So really critical to use a CRM CRM gives you 10x leverage as a salesperson. With that, thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Our next episode, which I'll be joined by one of my colleagues. So as I said, this is unusual. Hopefully you got a lot of value from this. And like I said, if you'd like a copy of the book, Gui@dakota.com. And the next episode is going to be July 8th at 1 p.m. for episode 33. So everyone, thanks so much for joining. Have a great day, and I'll see you on the next Emerging Manager Growth Show. Hello everyone, I just wanted to say thank you for watching the Emerging Manager Growth Show. I hope you got a lot of value. And I think, as you know, we shared an enormous amount of information about metro areas and other type of information, RIAs, etc. All of that information exists in Dakota Marketplace. And if you're not a member, we would love to show you the platform. Just simply go to our website and get a free trial of Dakota Marketplace.